Hi guys, just wanted to come on here and briefly talk about a movie I watched for the first time, the 1983 science fiction picture, Brainstorm. And it took me a while to watch this. I knew about the movie, what it was about, and who was in it and everything. This is the only copy I had though, so didn't watch it for a while, because this was a loose, really scratched up LaserDisc. You probably can't see it's reflecting a lot I can see there, but there's like scratches all over the place. I mean, if this was a DVD, this would very likely not play at all. It's scratched to hell. Some really deep, like sort of almost like gouges in the middle here. And that is because I'll post a video below. About 2 years ago, I picked up my second CED player at a Goodwill for about $5, and the needle on it was pretty much destroyed. I'd use a needle from my other player to test it out because someone thought it was a LaserDisc player, I believe, and this is the disc that I found lodged in the CED player, and they had tried to play it, and that's why it is scratched to heck, and you could see like where the needle was screeching into it. I can't imagine the sound inside a CED player. So I never bothered to even test it out. Once I finally got my LaserDisc player, after I had this for a little while. So finally, I decided to go through. I had a couple other discs like this that I got for free with other discs and a lot just kind of loose discs that I didn't really check out. So I've been looking through those and trying to watch those, and a couple of them. One was a pretty nice live orchestra concert, and then after that I watched Brainstorm. And this definitely exceeded my expectations. It was a film that has fairly mixed reviews, but it was recommended to me by some people who I know who are more fans of very cerebral science fiction. They like that sort of thing, so I kind of knew it was something that I was going to enjoy. And yeah, definitely not a perfect picture. It doesn't quite accomplish what it's trying to do, but it does a pretty close job. It's actually a very good movie overall. It is the last movie with Natalie Wood. She died before production was complete during a hiatus in between there. Well, died, killed. But yeah, so it's known for that. And it's also an interesting role for Christopher Walken. He's one of two scientists who are helping to create, and at this point they've pretty much created and are getting ready for marketing and kind of really getting this out to more of the public consciousness. An invention that you wear on your head that helps to record memories. You can experience other people's experiences through their minds, and not just the recording of a memory. It's almost like you are actually living it. You have the sights and the sounds and the feeling. In many ways, it's very similar to the premise behind the later 90s film Strange Days, which I talked about before, and I really enjoyed this, and that's what kind of made me want to go ahead and watch this then. After seeing this, I'm like, alright, it's a similar premise, and I know some people that like this better than the later Strange Days, so I wanted to check this out. And it was very interesting. It's one that really does delve into the idea of experiencing emotions through different experiences, as love and different emotions, even going into the experience of death afterwards, after someone, a scientist, someone, trying to spoil anything, even though it's an older movie, one of the scientists dies, and the last act of that individual is to try and record that experience, and it really gets into all those different areas of the human experience and the human mind, what it means to connect to other people and see the world through their eyes in many different ways. And it does it visually too. I was a little bit just confused at first when the film was beginning, because it's a narrow frame for a theatrical release, and it's done purposely though, because then when you go in and you're wearing the device and you're re-experiencing these recorded experiences, then it goes into a widescreen, and it even sort of switches the sound, and to the point where you feel more involved actually in the memories that are being experienced than what is sort of happening currently that people are experiencing. And it's a very interesting way of doing that, and really pushes home those ideas of those emotional experiences. And it does do an interesting job again with the science and the emotional elements and the human elements of the scientific experiment and where things are going. And the characters do a good job of portraying those elements, where it's not quite as successful, but still good. Where though I can kind of see some of the more critical elements there. When it gets into the very typical, we have this scientific invention, here comes the government, here it comes corporate entities, here come people trying to abuse this immediately and turn this into a weapon, use it for mind control. It's very, you can see it coming a mile away. It's very typical, and it ends up in a very, you can sort of foresee the path the movie is taking. But even in saying that, while you can see where the movie's going, actually journeying along that path to its completion is very interesting, and there's some very fascinating scenes again through here, some great visuals. It really is a very visual and emotional experience. So there are some cliche elements to the overall narrative, and some of the actors weren't quite used to their fullest extent, but part of that is also with troubles in production and Natalie Wood dying before it's 100% complete, even though she did most of her major scenes. So you can kind of see where this wasn't quite as good as it could have been. It wasn't quite as complete as it could have been, but it's pretty darn close, and it's a really, really good film. I think it's one that has kind of been shoved under the rug, and I don't really hear very many people talking about it. Again, I've only talked to a few people who've ever seen it and came highly recommended from them, and I'm now one of those people. I definitely recommend this film. Definitely one that I think is very enjoyable to watch, and I think the best part of it, though, it's one of those films where it's an imperfect but still very interesting experience, but to me probably the best part is what you take away from it and what it makes you think about and discuss with others afterwards. It's one of those films where I feel like what it creates and what you then go and explore on your own or with others is even greater than the actual film itself. So overall, though, a pretty good movie, and I wanted to bring it up. And again, you probably can't see on here, just all the light reflecting or whatever. But yeah, just another testament to how awesome LaserDisc is. If it's not a rotted disc, if it's a good disc, then it's gonna play great, better than a DVD. Like, there's no way that would play with some of these like scratches, and there's like a gash in here, and the whole thing plays just fine. Yeah, and completely rot-free, amazingly too, completely rot-free. So overall, just I was happy to finally look through some of those just kind of loose discs, and the one that was nearly destroyed by the CED player, the CED could not destroy the LaserDisc.